Hi everybody, and welcome to this Discover Engineering presentation from the University of Huddersfield. And in this particular instance, we see that we're working here just for Kirklees college students. So many thanks for allowing us the opportunity to work with you on your Career and Personal Development Passport Award. We're really pleased to be able to contribute to this, and we hope that you find this presentation useful and interesting. My name is Dr. Carl Walton, and I'm the subject area leader for mechanical engineering within the School of Computing and Engineering at Huddersfield. And I think before we go any further, I think it's useful for us to look at what perhaps makes an engineer. So what makes me an engineer, and maybe in the future, what will make you engineers too. Let's look at my description here. So I think as engineers, we should and need to have a really good understanding of the principles of how and why the physical world operates as it does. So there we have our scientific background coming through. We need to combine this knowledge with the latest technologies that are available to us, and that allows us to imagine and to build systems that can solve all of the many of the problems that our modern world poses us. So let's think about what we might be covering during this session. I think the next thing we'll be looking at from this slide will be engineering in our world, which is some examples of how engineering is all round us. We'll be looking at what a typical engineer might be, if there is indeed such a thing. Why we might go to university, to study a degree, looking at personal skills, industrial knowledge and employability. We also I think in some detail perhaps around perhaps what might be student misconceptions about what university involves and some of the issues around that. We'll take a little time on a few slides to look at our engineering courses, specifically at Huddersfield, and then towards the end, I'll leave you with some links and resources that will help you to follow up with your Passport Award, and also if you're interested in coming to study with us at a later date. Here we have a number of examples of how central engineering is to our modern world. As you may well appreciate, the development of renewable energy sources, as we see here from our wind turbine arrays on this particular slide, we can see that this particular field of renewable energy is of only increasing importance and will only continue to be so. And this is relevant as we have an energy engineering course at Huddersfield, and we provide this particular field with a number of graduates from our courses each year. As the current world health crisis has demonstrated, medical engineering in the form of respirators and vital monitoring equipment are of the highest importance, and this is illustrated here in the setting of the intensive care unit. I think also that going forward, we'll all understand the desire for a long, healthy life for ourselves and our families. And this will increase the drive and the expansion of research and manufacturing in the field of medical engineering. And at Huddersfield, we hope that our new Medical Engineering Technologies programme will produce graduates that are well equipped to fulfil this demand in this increasingly important field. Many of the examples here, such as prosthetic limbs or advanced biosensing systems, and maybe even robotics in the agricultural industry, perhaps illustrate an important trend towards the combination of mechanical and electrical engineering into a discipline in its own right, mechatronics, which you may have heard of. Again, Huddersfield has a dedicated programme for mechatronics, but this trend is also clear in this specific disciplines of mechanical and electrical engineering, which are in their own right becoming less distinct. I think it's also fair to say that we shouldn't lose sight of the importance of more basic engineering systems, such as we see here, where we may be providing fundamental services to, say, the developing world. And in this setting, we may be staying away from very sophisticated integrated systems, but our focus has to be much more on robust systems that can operate and be maintained under what might be very challenging conditions. So let's think about who might become engineers. And I think from the selection of individuals we see on screen, it's very clear here that there is no such thing as a typical individual who becomes an engineer. This is a representation of a cross-section of staff and students from Huddersfield, and we can see that all races, genders and ethnicities are all well represented here. And I think the commonalities are much more to do with the attitudes and skills and interests that come together to typify an engineer. I think it's worth looking at a couple of examples, perhaps. And here we have Jackson, who was an electrical engineer at Huddersfield. He graduated from an undergraduate course here, and is now looking at he's working on his PhD. And we also have Abby, who was a mechanical engineer who I had the privilege to teach on our undergraduate mechanical course. And we can see her pictured here during her placement year, where she worked at Toyota vehicles, and I believe this is taken on one of the production lines at one of their main plants. Why go to university? Indeed, it's a very good question. And perhaps on this slide we can see a few examples of good reasons to do that. I think, developing your personal skills has to be one of the main reasons for doing this. We can also think about looking at the images that are on this slide. I think what's being illustrated here is the diversity that the University of Huddersfield offers particularly. Huddersfield is an extremely diverse community. We have people studying here from all over the world. Here we see individuals showing off proudly their national flags. So you get to join a vibrant and inclusive student community, meet lots of people and develop confidence and expand your horizons, meet people and make friends from all over the world, and maybe even go and visit with them at some point during your career. There are lots of other kinds of things that you can do as well whilst you're studying with us, or at another university perhaps. You can become a course representative. That allows you to be involved in course management, curriculum development, representing your fellow students at various levels during your course. You can become involved in the university in a wider sense through student societies, or looking to join maybe the university senate, where you can actually start to have an opinion and an input into how the university operates. You can, with all the student societies that are available to you, climbing, badminton, just to name a few that I might have been involved with in my time here. And you can also take part in lots of things like team projects and so forth. Through the Hughes Engineering Society within the student union, we get to take part in things like the building the green power vehicle. Look this up online if you want to do that. Lots of interesting things to do and to see. So, thinking again now, why go to university? Having looked at some of the personal and cultural sides of the experience you might get there, perhaps we should think about developing your employability, which is also an important side of what going to university would do and gaining your degree. So it's fair to say, I think, without any real questioning the facts too much, increasing your lifetime earning potential is something that gaining a degree and going to university will achieve you in your career. We have recently instated at Huddersfield, and other places are using this scheme too, we have Global Professional Award, which is a system by which students can gain some of the softer professional skills that they might need, that will take them and make them into a rounded professional when they graduate. So all students at first year take part in this scheme, extracurricular work, and by the time they complete this, they gain themselves a level 5 chartered status with the Chartered Management Institute. So really good, solid material to be working with there. We also have Employable Me, which is careers advice for life at the university. So, we can engage you with our careers service and discuss how you might fit in with what you're doing and moving forward into a career, maybe after graduating from an undergraduate course or a master's, or doing further study in lots of different ways. Also here you think about perhaps that it might not be necessarily going on to be a practicing engineer. Many of our students can be equally valuable going forward into other sorts of careers that any solid engineering degree would make you a good candidate for. So we also have access to our enterprise team. Through our relationship with the 3M BIC, the Enterprise Centre, we have the opportunities to introduce students to the possibilities around them becoming entrepreneurs themselves and perhaps going on to running their own businesses, even just investigating those possibilities. Some of the other things that you can do at university, perhaps these last couple of points here, these will also add to your skills and add to the things that you've got on your CV to make you stand out from other candidates. We're becoming a student ambassador, and I'll just tell you a little bit more about that in a second, but we've also got a STEM ambassador as well, one of which is specifically within the university and the others a bit more general. So a student ambassador might be a role where, as a student, as an undergraduate at University of Huddersfield, you could spend some time being paid to show groups of visiting students around and perhaps their parents, maybe giving small presentations, guided tours, and this kind of thing. Helps develop some of those skills around representing the university and being able to speak to groups of people. Great experience, which we all need. STEM is perhaps a similar kind of thing. During your time as a student and potentially after you graduate, you could be a STEM ambassador. STEM, maybe you're aware, is a group of subjects, science, technology, engineering and maths, those sorts of technology subjects that are associated in that grouping. As a STEM ambassador, as a student, you might be involved with supporting that group of subject matter across schools and maybe helping promote those subjects to school children and a whole host of other types of activities. But have a look that up online, STEM ambassador work. It's very interesting. When students come to us at Huddersfield and consider taking a degree with us, we often find that they have concerns and perhaps misconceptions, maybe like the ones that are illustrated on screen here, and maybe we should address a few of these. Some students may think that university isn't for people like them. Well, I think the last slide that we showed is a good illustration that students at Huddersfield come from every type of background. So I think we would simply be able to reassure students that with the relevant determination, students will come from any background at all. Some concern, not unreasonably perhaps, that they won't be able to cope with the work on a degree. Later on, I hope we'll see that we have excellent support systems at University of Huddersfield, and we'll see those in some more detail, and we would be able to support students very well through their degree, taking them from their position being either a school or college student and developing them individually into the independent learners and graduates that they would be when they would leave us. And that's a well supported and structured role that we provide for them. I can't choose a course if I don't know what job I want. I think that's a particularly salient point here, in that I think later on again we'll see that Huddersfield and any engineering degree, whether it be from Huddersfield or anywhere else, can offer students an exceptionally good opportunity at employment. The employment rates for engineers are very good, and I think it's fair to say that an engineering degree, even if you're not clear where you want to be going as an individual into a career, it's a good degree to take to get you the sorts of skills and the sorts of experiences that you would need to be a rounded graduate that would be highly employable in many different settings. Thinking about graduate employment trends, I think it's, as an example, we can look here at the Leeds City region and see that we have as many as 7,500 manufacturing and engineering businesses just within this limited area. And I think that makes a good example of how diverse the possible employment opportunities are for engineering graduates. So, I think it's also fair that fits with that is that we see the latest trends that are reported showing a shortage of engineering and manufacturing professionals in general to go with that. So we have a large number of opportunities and we have a shortage of professionals in that field. And certainly from the university perspective at Huddersfield, we see that over 90% of our engineering graduates are in employment or further education. And this is a figure that we usually quote at 3 years post-graduation. And again, within about 4 or 5 years into individual careers after graduation, we expect many of our graduates and graduates in general from engineering to be looking at having salaries of the order of £35,000. And I think this is summed up nicely at the end here by saying that any STEM degree, really, any degree that's within the area of STEM, so that's science, technology, engineering, and maths, is generally going to be a good opportunity for you to go forward and find employment as a graduate. Very much related to employability is the fact that Huddersfield, we pride ourselves, I think, on the fact that we're a very industry-focused university, and this is borne out by a number of different mechanisms that we can see illustrated here that we use to develop industrial relationships between students and staff as well. I think the first and probably one of the most significant of these is that all our courses are based on a placement system, so that they're sandwich courses, and that their third year students have the opportunity very much to go into industry and spend a full year doing a very worthwhile job and developing relationships there. As an alternative to that, we also have our enterprise placement opportunity, which is where a student during that same year can maybe look at doing something a little bit more entrepreneurial and maybe starting to develop their own business. We also have the Global Professional Award, which has begun this year, and this is a scheme where we look at students becoming involved by learning lots of different professional and transferable skills, some of the more softer skills that industry requires. Another method by which we maintain our connections with local industry and indeed national industry is to bring in guest speakers from different industries. We come in and often there might be graduates from Huddersfield, and they will speak to students in groups and give them suggestions about how they might develop their own connections or where they might go for themselves after their graduation. Another really important feature that we have at Huddersfield is what we call our industry panel, our industrial liaison panel, which is a panel that meets regularly at the university to discuss and advise the university on what industry requires. So these are significant leaders in industry locally and nationally who come together and have an engagement with the university, and advise us on our policy and what we might include in our courses to make our courses as good as they can be to supply industrial quality graduates. We also have the HUD IET on campus events, the IET being the Institute of Engineering and Technology. We have these events that bring industrialists and members of the IET onto campus to have events with students and engage and make useful connections. Huddersfield University, I think, has the right to be proud perhaps of this particular status. This slide indicates our gold level Teaching Excellence Framework Award within the wider Teaching Excellence Framework in the UK. One of only a relatively small number of higher education institutes that were awarded the very highest standard for our teaching and student support. Studying at Huddersfield can be challenging and rewarding in many different ways, but one of the particular ways that I think would be of interest to you is to look at our IMechE challenges, which are run in master's year, but also are open to final year students doing their final year projects. Although it's the IMechE, which is the Institute of Mechanical Engineers, these projects are very much an integrated projects that are run across electrical and mechanical areas. There are 3 separate projects, which again are team managed at master's level, but final year project students can be involved. We have Formula Student, which you may already be aware of. We have the UAS, which is essentially building drones, and we have the Rail Challenge from the Institute of Rail Research. All these challenges are clearly different in their fundamental vehicle that they're designing, but in essence, they're all similar in the sense that the vehicles are designed and built by a team of students and then tested and competitively against other teams from around the country and around the world, in many cases, from other HE institutes. Our courses at Huddersfield are designed to challenge you and allow you to develop the knowledge and skills that you'll need to go on and be a successful engineer in your career. We see here that on this slide we have some of our courses set out. Some of our new courses are here. Digital Manufacturing Engineering is one of our new programs, started last year. We have some existing courses, Automotive and Motorsport Engineering from the mechanical area, and of course all of our electrical and electronic courses from the electrical area, including Electronic and Communications Engineering and some others here. We have, in addition, we have some more new courses that I've mentioned previously. We have mechatronic engineering, we have medical engineering technologies, and of course we have engineering design alongside the existing electronic engineering courses that I've already mentioned from the electrical area. Having considered the range of degree courses that are available to you in engineering at Huddersfield, I think we should also consider this option here on this slide, which is our foundation year, which forms a preparatory year which leads potentially, given passing that course, leads you into a whole range of potential engineering courses, certainly all the ones I showed you on the previous slides. So if you, in the case that you may not have previous experience in this particular subject area, that probably doesn't apply necessarily to anybody perhaps here. But if you don't have any particular experience, this foundation course will allow you to make that transition from a less specific engineering disciplinary area into engineering. And if you have perhaps unusual academic qualifications, which perhaps need some realignment, the foundation year can also be used in that way to align you for first year of all our engineering degrees. So it can be the first year of an undergraduate course to BEng, or it can be the first year of an undergraduate course to MEng. Those might be 5 or 6 year courses, depending on whether you have a sandwich or whether you take the masters. To progress from foundation into those BEng or MEng courses, you would need to gain 40% average and pass all your modules and move into a choice of first year degrees at that point. One of the considerations to come onto our foundation year are set out on this last point here, where you're going to need a couple of equivalent C's at A level, which is merit pass for a BTEC with appropriate subjects, or 64 UCAS points, which is the approximate equivalent there, and a maths at grade 4 or above. And we also have further information on the website to show some more detail there about the modules and the material that you might study on foundation year. I like to think at Huddersfield that we provide a very supportive and friendly environment for students to undertake their studies, and here are some of the structures that we use to provide that support. I think one of the main areas of support that students would appreciate on a day-to-day basis might be that provided by the Student Support Office. And we can see down here Kristen, who is our Student Engagement Coordinator, looking to support students at the desk in the Student Support Office. Things that students might go there for could include anything from induction through to course information and timetabling, so on. So anything from induction right the way through to organising graduation gowns for finishing up and graduating. We have an excellent team of guidance officers. We can see a one-to-one session going on down in this corner here. So the guidance team can provide support for getting students back on track or providing academic skills support, revision tips and so forth. We also have a system where our academic staff give one-to-one support to each of our undergraduate students and postgraduate students on a personal academic tutor-based system where individual students are assigned to a member of staff and they provide ongoing support on a regular basis through the academic year, and then also they also provide a service whereby students can be referred to other systems within the university should they be needed by those students. We also have a great technical team who can help with lab access and computer facilities and any software issues that students might be experiencing. And centrally, we have a great wellbeing team who can look at mental health support. We have a great gym system, excellent group support systems, and we have social events and so forth, which can be there to provide excellent support and a friendly environment for students. Okay, so thinking about maybe graduate destinations where students might go to start their career. It's difficult to give a really clear idea about all the possibilities because clearly there's as we've mentioned previously, there's an enormous range of possible destinations and career options for graduates from engineering courses. Don't even need to be within engineering, of course. This listing that we see here really just covers the whole range of kind of generic titles that you might see from the beginning of a career right the way through to a more senior roles, as we see senior mechanical engineer, senior systems engineer, and so forth. A whole range of very disparate roles that we can see. Thanks for listening, everybody, and I'll leave you in a few moments, but we need to leave you with some links so that you can find some extra information if you want to do that. So here we have some online open day opportunities at this particular web address here. These might be, currently I think we're all online, but it may be that as things improve, there may be opportunities to visit the campus personally. We've also got the opportunities for you, which is quite good, I think, to chat with our existing students. On the chat with our students opportunity is basically a certain number of our students will be around on this chat so that you can actually get some first-hand kind of experience from those of our students that join in with that. We have student blogs that you can have a look at and see what students are saying about their experiences at Huddersfield. We also have a couple of interesting opportunities on our website we have one of our student ambassadors, Curtis, I believe, who does a guided tour, takes you around the university engineering facilities. We also have an interactive map which allows you to look at some of the facilities and do a bit of a guided tour. And of course, we also have the course brochures, which you'll find on the website too. So, any further questions you might have, there has been created online an online form to capture the questions that will follow up, that you may have that will follow up from this presentation, and the link is seen there, so you can see the web address there. And then we can feed back to you on any questions that you might have and give you some responses. A final couple of points of contact for you should you need them is we have here at Huddersfield, we have the School of Computing and Engineering Schools College Liaison Service address. If you want to ask any questions or think about coming to join us, please contact us there. And we also have, of course, at your own college, Kirklees, we have your contact for the Work Placement Employer Liaison Officer, who is Arden Simpson, and that email address is there for you and contact number. Okay, many thanks for listening, everybody. Bye bye now.